Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about where to even start when you want to come up with a new idea for your next narrative project. Specifically, I'm going to talk about my process developing animated projects. But whether you're a professional or a student working in animation, live action, illustration, comics, and you're trying to come up with a new idea for your next narrative project, this is for you. There's nothing more stressful than trying to come up with your next great idea when you force yourself to stare at a blank page and you're filled with stress. So you pace around the room, do the dishes, scroll, vacuum the carpet, scroll, take a nap, and then another day goes by. Let me offer you an alternative. A few places where you can go for inspiration. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm an animation director. I studied character animation at Cal Arts. I developed TV shows at Disney TV and a feature at Netflix. I'm currently developing a new animated pilot that I'm making completely independently, and I'm sharing my entire process on Patreon and on Discord. This is actually the first devlog for that project, and I'm gonna share how I came up with the idea for the show. So, what can you do to come up with an idea for your next project? Recall some meaningful stories from your own life. The most cliche, but also the most true advice that I know is write what you know. I like to go back to my old journals and dig up some stories that are worth drawing inspiration from. When you write about what you know, your stories become more authentic and specific. You're telling them through your own unique point of view, and you're more passionate about them simply because you care about them more deeply. And even if you don't write journals, just try to recall some experiences from your life that were impactful. For example, my second-year film at Cal Arts Aquarium was based on my own experience dating a guy before I came out of the closet, and the tension that I felt between being in love and having to keep it a secret. Another thing that helps me is to think of all the things that I like to read or to watch. My all-time favorites, like this graphic novel, Asterios Polyp, I hope I'm saying it right, but it's my favorite. Or movies that I keep coming back to and I'll always love, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or Poor Things from recent times, The Emperor's New Groove, yes. Or TV shows like Gumball. Whenever I come back to my all-time favorites, it brings me back to who I am, what I like to see in the world, and what I want to create more of. Rewatching shows and movies that I think are great makes me want to create something great myself. Side note, I have many archives. I have my notes app on my phone where I just write down random stuff that I come up with during the day. I have bookmarks on Instagram and on TikTok that I can always come back to for inspiration. And I have a reference folder in my photo app where I just collect stuff that I see on my day-to-day or on vacation that might end up as inspirations for characters, for environments, or for story moments. The third technique I use is not about consuming anything external anymore, but about looking within. It's about asking yourself, what do you want to say with that show, with that idea? What is the message you want to have out there in the world? What do you want your audience to feel when they see it? And that technique was the thing that helped me come up with the idea for my show. So I was thinking about how we live in a time where it feels like everything is so chaotic and there's a sense of constant struggle and we just want someone to save us. Maybe like a Mary Poppins character, someone who comes with optimism and resourcefulness, maybe a cat in a hat even, someone that brings delight and fun into our lives. But then I was like, maybe we don't need a savior. Maybe the key is to save ourselves. Maybe it's going to be about taking agency and finding a way in which we can be our own savior. And so that's where I started. Maybe my character needs to become their own savior. maybe they're in a situation where no one's gonna save them anymore. No one is gonna help them but themselves. Okay, so that's a pretty solid start. So I already know that the tone of my show is gonna be lighthearted and comedic and fun and something that people can take a break from their stressful life and watch it and enjoy it, and also have it be empowering. I know my character is going to end up being their own savior, being optimistic, resourceful, having agency, but that means that probably they need to start in the opposite place. Maybe they need to start spoiled and rigid and pessimistic. And so what is the next step? What is their story?